I'm curious, for our audience, mostly small businessmen and women, how is marketing still the same in 2018, and then how is it very, very different?
I love this question. I think marketing is still the same in the sense that you have to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
We have loved stories from time immemorial. We're still human. We still love stories. And I think it's important not to forget that, because I think sometimes with all the technology, all the tools available, we focus a lot on tactics, but we don't necessarily think about, is my message going to connect with someone on the other side of the table?
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially as small businesses, as you're trying to build a following, drive customer loyalty, drive repeat customers, it's so important to tell your story in a clear way that resonates. People still make decisions many times from emotion. Yes. As opposed to kind of thinking about, rationalizing things. So many times I find that, entrepreneurs, small businesses, you want to quickly go to the stats, but you're not really teasing out why those stats are important. So for example, a business that helps with productivity might just want to say, hey, saved 1,000 hours in a year, helps you save 20% of cost. But you're not really, why does that matter? Why is that critical?
Yeah.
Maybe it's that it helps you work better so you can focus on what really matters, right? So connecting the dots, I think, is critical. And I think that is something that's only going to become more important. You hear a lot of marketing thought leaders talk about purpose-driven marketing.
Yes.
People care about the why.
Yes.
The purpose is so important. So don't just push your product. Try to make it not just transactional, but really relational. How are you telling a story? How are you cultivating that relationship? I think that is going to continue to be even more important in the future. And I think what's changed is we're in this era where we can gather a lot of data.
Yeah.
Never before have we been able to gather as much data from our customers as we can now. You know what we're not doing? We're not prioritizing that data. We're not analyzing that data, and we're not utilizing that data to drive business decisions. And I think this is another area where marketing can really tap into what's great about our discipline today, but how can we actually leverage some of the tools that exist to bring us even closer to our customers.
Okay, that's awesome. I want to stay right there. How does a small businessman or woman do what you just said there?
So I think it's about, whether you're using Google, you're using Facebook, you're using LinkedIn, whatever tools you're kind of using to kind of promote your business, advertise your business, get your business out there. Make sure that you are, as you're collecting data from your customers, you're utilizing that data in a very thoughtful way. So don't just, reach out to your customers when you want to sell them something. Check in.
Yeah.
How did that experience work out for them? Do they need any help? Really try to build out a customer journey from acquiring the lead to nurturing the lead to helping once, getting the lead to finally make that purchase. But after the purchase is done, it doesn't end there. You have to continue to nurture those customers, to turn them into loyalists and hopefully advocates that help to drive more leads. So building out that entire customer journey, mapping that out, and then using tactics on these various platforms to help you move from generating interest to really creating advocates that help to generate even more interest.
Are we at a point, Dara, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going to throw a suggested question out here. Are we at a point where no one listening here can say, we don't do anything on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We just don't do anything. We just don't have time. I don't have somebody I can hire. I can't hire somebody full time to do that, blah, 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 blah. I mean, are we at a place where that's just honestly silly and you're leaving money on the table?
It's absolutely silly. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you don't have a digital strategy at this point, I mean, that is unfortunate because you are leaving so much on the table. And one thing I will say is you don't have to do every single channel.
Right.
You can be thoughtful about what channel makes the most sense for your audience, but you absolutely need to have a digital strategy. I mean, I remember talking to a lady I met the other day who was telling me about, she actually runs a therapy business and kind of consulting coach business, small business here in the Bay Area in Palo Alto. And she was saying, I'm losing client, like not losing in a bad sense, but, hopefully she's helped the people to the point where they don't need her help anymore.
Of course, yes,
so she's kind of graduated, right? She's graduated all these former patients and clients. And she's like, and I need new business, but it's been tough. And I said, well, how many reviews do you have on Yelp? Oh, I'm not on Yelp. Mm-hmm. Do you do anything? Do you have a Facebook page? No, I'm not on Facebook. Well, and she was like, but I don't want to have, mental health is a tricky thing. And people don't want to write reviews and stuff. I said, with everything going on, with Kate Spade's passing and Anthony, people care so much about mental health right now. I can't even tell you how many people have showed up in my feed just saying, hey, I have a problem. I need help. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, you will be surprised if you set up a Yelp page and ask some of your patients that have graduated if they would like to write about their experience. And, I ended up running to her again the other day, at Whole Foods, and I asked her, well, what happened? And she said, I asked my patient, I have to tell you, I'm actually between, and it was just a couple of weeks time between when she's already fully booked. Wow. And that's just because she finally got the word out there using digital tools.
Yeah.
So I think, that's sort of an example, but this is showing a woman, she's a one-woman shop. It's a very small business. Mm-hmm. I think she might have an assistant who helps her out from time to time. But just by going digital, she was able to fill a business gap that existed.
Exactly.
So I do think we are past the point where you can just say, hey, I'm not going to use these platforms. I think it's silly to ignore these platforms.